Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode on the Home Tech Talk podcast. My name is Jake.
And my name is Aiden.
And on this episode, we are doing something a little bit special, aren't we, Aiden?
Yeah, we are. We're helping our friends at Snap One talk about a new product that they're bringing to the market for Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, excited. And I've finally got you out of the Shire. So
Yeah.
we're over in the hills, my area, and we're in a different location as well. So we're here at the Bella Vista Hotel using their facilities here. So thank you guys for hosting us. And I'm excited to get Aiden out of the Shire.
Yeah.
They gave him a visa? Is that what you're saying?
A little bit anxious, but here we are.
He's out. If you guys wanted to introduce yourselves and let us know what you guys are doing at Snap.
Yeah, well, firstly, hi everybody. Thanks for having us on, guys. I appreciate it. It's always a bit of fun. So my name's Adam Merlino and I'm responsible for Snap One's businesses across Asia Pacific.
Yeah, awesome.
And I'm Joe Salamanca. I'm the Senior Marketing Manager for Snap One in APAC.
So I'm sure you've been busy with this new announcement.
Yeah, a little busy. It's been good. I think it's been a busy startup for many things. So it's been a good ride.
Well, it's sort of, I think, your first real launch. I mean, since you've joined, right? We had a couple of products,
product
but
launch,
you know, it's
service.
interesting. You mentioned it's a product. It's actually more of a service than a product, I think. You know, designed really to help integrators. So we'll get into that, but. Sort of Joe's been drinking from the fire hose and he's got a lot of history in the industry and it's great to have him on board and he's helping steer our ship and getting communication out to our partner network.
And we were at the CEDIA Tech Summit. You guys did a soft launch there and what was your feedback from the market?
Yeah, look, you're correct. We did launch it, the Parasol service at CEDIA Tech Summit in the Gold Coast. We basically put a formal press release out, which is out there in the print. But I think certainly people and partners in our part of the world are aware of the service, and we'll get into why it's an important service, but they were hoping and anticipating its launch, and we've been talking about it for about 12 months in general. But now's the time, and we've got the mechanisms right to bring it to market.
Yeah, cool. I mean, it's a very interesting service. It suits, I've been searching for this type of solution for a little while, and we've discussed it many times over.
Yeah.
So what is the background of Parasol? I know Snap One acquired the Parasol brand.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty well-established service running in North America for quite a while.
One of the things that we try and do, or we do at Snap One, we obviously manufacture great products and solutions. And it's important because what we do in this industry and what you guys do and what we do, it's complex. And, you know, when we talk to our partners, we try and understand what other challenges they face in business today. And the most common things, and I think we even heard this last week at the Tech Summit, right? And we hear it everywhere, is the two biggest challenges they face is one, trying to find technicians to help build their business and scale and grow their business, onboarding them and actually making them productive and actually generating revenue is the other part, because as you know, you bring a technician on, they don't necessarily recoup costs straight away. So how do we help partners do that? We do that with our overseas platform, which basically provides a simplified implementation platform. Learn the overseas platform and you can deploy over 4 integrated systems seamlessly. So upskilling quite quickly. And the other is, you know, many people and many partners in our business are small businesses and it's how they start. And the biggest challenges they face is how do they add resources to support the growth of the business? And in talking to partners, we hear them say, look, you know, we start the business and things just boom along and they go great. But when do I need to invest in additional resources to help my business trajectory keep going up and to the right? And I think that, you know, fundamentally myself being in the industry for as long as I have and you guys and Joe, it's a common challenge that's always been there. So what we've brought to market is Parasol to help combat that. So, Joe, why don't you tell us a little bit about Parasol? And
the key thing is that it's been developed by integrators for integrators. So it's not something that someone's dreamed up and thought, oh, this is a great way to spin off some money. It's really there to support the integrators and, as Adam said, to help scale their business, you know, cost effectively. And so the support factor, you know, the side of that is really the key. It's about helping our partners support their clients in a timely fashion. And, let their clients be heard, because let's be honest, we all know, we're all guilty of it. You don't get back to a customer in a timely fashion. It doesn't leave a nice sort of, taste in their mouth, let's say, with what they've just spent with you and so forth. So this is really where Parasol shines, because it takes over with some qualified technicians. We call them first responders, let's say. They're the guys at the front line that take that call or message or whatever it is from the end user, and then work through, and in 70% of the cases, the problem's resolved by our remote support technicians. And that saves a lot of time, a lot of disruption to what our partners are trying to do, and it creates so much more of a happy environment for that end user.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like the process you described of coming on board with Snap One, having some business growth, it's super important to be able to maintain that support, because you guys only go to market through the integrator, so you kind of rely on the integrator to be efficiently operating. So in order to keep that business efficiency, you need to be able to do the new work, you need to be able to support the old work, and you need to be able to keep those clients happy and referring business. Absolutely. And the best way to do that is to continue, to keep our client happy in the longer term, because it's not necessarily good enough just to get them operational in the first instance. You kind of need to keep that experience going.
Correct. And you want that relationship to keep going, because, time passes really quickly, right?
Yeah.
And before you know it, there's upgrades, there's this, they're going to need something else. They have a friend. That word of mouth, we know, is really the most.
Look, the lowest, it's a common fact, right? In marketing, your existing customer is your best customer to generate more revenue. So if you can provide satisfaction and constantly and obviously be a point of reference for them, well, the chances are they're going to come back for more repeat business.
Absolutely.
It is a fact that the life cycle of a integrated home customer is extensive. It goes far beyond most other industries. And if you try and do some math and monetize that, I think people get quite a big surprise as to the lifetime value of a customer.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. But I think it really comes back to being, the human side of things as well. Like, the most likely time that a customer is going to call with an issue is when?
Yeah.
Outside
an
evening, outside of business hours, right? And this is their home. This is their place. This is where they reside. They want to relax. And if things aren't working, well, that's a frustration point.
Yeah.
It's funny. In the office, if you go into a boardroom or into a room like this and, it's not working, the tech will be out tomorrow, it's cool. They don't stress about it. But when they go home and the footy's on, or, the Tim Zoo fight's on, and they can't watch the bout.
Well, the kids can't watch Bluey.
Bluey, even better, Bluey, yeah. So it's... they're the things and they're the challenges. But more importantly, apart from disruption during the workday, which obviously affects productivity, there's another factor, and that's the personal livelihood of the integration company. You're having dinner with your family, and we've all been there. We get that phone call, right? So, and that's what we're trying to hope to alleviate with Parasol.
Yeah, there's definitely two sides to that. There's the client experiencing the frustration in their home, and then there's us, the integrator, experiencing the frustration of being at home, hearing about their problem.
Correct.
And my wife's not necessarily that accommodating to me taking a call during dinner. She's well and truly had enough of that after 17 years. So.
We all feel that one. We all feel that.
Well, seriously, your family's waiting for you all day.
Yeah.
Right? And particularly if you've got young kids, and you come home and you need to be a dad, right? You need to be a mum. You need to be whatever it is that the home needs to function as well. Yeah. And so there's both aspects of it. One, service and support, but the other is actually trying to provide a better livelihood for integrators in this sector. What we do is complex. We have challenges, and so how can we help at scale? This is one of the ways.
Yeah, I think it's a very powerful tool to leverage on. I think so. Aidan and I obviously run our own businesses, and I'm in the infant stage, I guess you could call, of my business, and Aidan's well and truly set in his business. And I think, both of us see a really good use case in a service like this. exactly that. We've got families. We need a better solution into how we can better help our clients. And I think Parasol is a very good value add.
Yeah, the thing I've found that's like going through the whole process of trying to implement this thing, like a reasonable service, and maintenance part of my business for a few years, but the actual structure that comes as part of this, it's kind of like you don't have to engineer the process. It's defined. You just got to get on board, and it's been developed by integrators over a lot of integrators. It's not like we can. In my own business, I can't go and have a conversation with 50 other integrators and go, oh, what are you doing about service and support? How do we, what's the mechanics of employing this in your business? This has been done. Like you can just literally get on board with the process. The process has been developed by integrators, many integrators. It was actually created by multiple integrators in its first incarnation, and it's been, developed to accommodate our businesses.
Yeah. Correct.
And it's very flexible too in terms of, like we do a lot of control for, but it doesn't have to be, it's not control for. I think the only real prerequisite is that you are on board with the oversee management tool.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and I'm glad you brought that up. So, yes, obviously we have our own control platform, which is Control 4 at Snap One, but our networking platforms, our IP power management, our distribution solutions, they're brand agnostic. They can work with any of the other major platforms that are out there. And this service, you are correct, can be utilized by anybody outside of, whether they choose or not choose Control 4 as their automation platform. I think the big things and the big takeaways is, I guess, what people want to know is how do we do it? How do we get on board and how do we get going? And
where does it get us?
Yeah. So, just in a real high level nutshell, basically they go to the website, which will provide the links on this video, I assume.
Yep, they'll be below.
And basically there's a whole repository of information you get presented with a portal. And basically there's some onboarding processes. Now, to simplify that, in mid-November, I think it's the week of the 13th, we're going to be hosting an onboarding session for people that want to learn more about Parasol. Our colleague from the USA, Brandon, will actually be hosting that event, and hopefully we can answer most questions on that. So we'll do a bit of a session, and then we can get people up to speed. But in the meantime, if you are keen and interested in jumping in and getting on board, you can register. It doesn't cost anything to register. And basically you can sign up your home or your office as your first site, and it gets you in to be able to experience what Parasol can do for you. I think from a peace of mind and comfort, the sort of person I am, I have to try things in order to be able to promote and do things, and I highly encourage people in our industry to do the same thing, whether it be a product, whether it be a service, like really understand it, use it, and then know how to embed it into your business. And the idea is that it helps our integration partners provide the better service, but more importantly, provide a recurring, stable revenue stream. Because, again, we know in this industry it's a lumpy business, right? A job comes in, a job gets delayed, and how do we help try and cut through that? So that's another way that we can assist.
Yeah, I definitely am one to trial before I roll things out. And I think we were joking off camera about putting it in our homes and having the wife call up the service, and we'll definitely give that a trial.
I do get those calls. Like, how do I do this?
We all do.
So I'll be deferring those now.
Yep.
Parasol,
New number.
have you called your technician?
Actually, that's a good point, because you even get issued a phone number, right? A local phone number for customers. So the customers can either contact Parasol via voice or via chat.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yep, absolutely. And there's a couple of different plans there to differentiate service and the needs that are required.
Yeah.
And we're not talking, a huge amount of dollars. It's billed monthly to the integrator, but of course, as an integrator, you have a choice of however else you want to wrap things around it, whether you want to do it as a yearly fee, however you want to structure it, I guess.
Yeah, so there were two plans, right? The first one was just via chat
and email. Yep.
And then the second one was voice. Yeah.
So essential and enhanced.
Yeah,
is that right?
essential and enhanced. They're the two $49 for the essential and $79 for the enhanced.
Yeah, and then
monthly.
you can add, like, we'll be planning on adding a quarterly on-site service to do those firmware updates and things like that as part of what we offer for, and we'll roll this in.
Yeah, I think, being clever about it and providing the foundation of something like this leads into other things, right? And you just hit it on the head, because one of the things when people are paying for something, like if they pay for a subscription service like a Netflix or whatever, they've got value because they're using it and they see it every day. If you're paying for something and you're not seeing it every day, then you think, well, why am I paying for this?
Yeah.
So it's like the old thing, if you ever looked after somebody's dog, they say, send me a proof of life, show me the dog. So I think it's important, and we provide those tools where you can provide a monthly report to the customer, how many problems were solved. And I think we've got a count of aggregate problems that have been resolved, and that's cool. But the other thing is that, rolling it into a proper service and maintenance agreement in the sense of, many customers have projectors. Well, how good is it to go there once a quarter and give that lens a wipe over and make sure it's aligned properly on the screen? I think the more that you're engaged with your customers, the more opportunities you have to sell more.
Yeah.
So, you could even say, sign up to this subscription service and we'll provide you X% discounts on upgrades and maintenance calls. So you have different ways that you could structure it and be quite clever about it.
And it's all about the value add as well. And that's something that both Aidan and I sat in on, was Tim's session about RMR last week at the Tech Summit. And I think I found that quite helpful. I think his messages...
Was that the mental exercise? We had to stand up? Or?
Yeah. I think that was really excellent. I think I know in my personal life, I'm a big procrastinator. And I think, Tim was really getting us out of our comfort zone and really making sure that, it's something that we implement, because I know both Aidan and myself have been talking for quite a few months about service plans and having a service like Parasol to really wrap that up and have all those processes in place, I think really hits the nail on the head, that it's just a package solution for an integrator.
Yeah.
Cool.
A little tip for anyone thinking of doing these RMR services: the best value add is just to clean the CCTV cameras.
Yes.
Every time they touch the touchscreen, and it's like you've installed a new camera. The thing's so much easier to see what's going on.
Well, even the touchscreens as well. Those things can get a bit grubby when there's a lot of kids on them.
Yeah.
It's actually, I think you hit it on the head. Peace of mind is everything to customers. I mean, don't get me wrong, everyone likes the entertainment side of it. Peace of mind and security are two big factors.
Yeah.
And to say that I'm going to come once a quarter, you could have the best camera in the world, but if it's dirty, what does it matter? So that's a really good point.
Yeah, we're seeing a big shift to just in terms of what's going into projects. It's like, I'm very passionate about the entertainment portion of our projects. That's kind of my favorite bit, but there seems to be a shift into the actual automation environment, the security aspects of it. These things are starting to shift, and there's just a lot more stuff to keep operational, because it's one thing if you can't watch TV, but if you're relying on your camera or your security system, all these things, these are actually more critical functions of a home that you need to keep operational and online, and you need to know if they go offline. So that's what Oversee helps us keep on top of those things, so we get notifications. Any of that critical stuff that goes out, we can take care of quicker, because it matters more ultimately. It's one thing to not be able to miss a TV show, but it's a whole other thing to miss a break-in.
Yeah, you're sort of talking more about critical infrastructure, and that's changed a lot.
Yeah.
So before, critical infrastructure used to be your air conditioning system, your electrical, your hot water. But that's expanded a lot now into things like you said, smart lighting, security, surveillance. And they are technical products, whichever way you look at it. They sit on an IP network, and basically you need to be able to have the benefits and utilize those things to service the business, but also provide that level of comfort and security for the customer. And imagine turning around to your customer and saying, Mr. Jones, your camera out the front has dropped offline 4 times in the last week. I'm going to come out to site. If the camera is faulty, unfortunately it's out of warranty, it's X amount of dollars to replace it, or it's just going to be a service call.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're actually preempting and, no surprises for the homeowner as well. You're looking after their security interests, but 2, you're giving them upfront costs and service charges to get the job done. in the event of one or the other.
And that's one of the things we've been talking about a lot is that whole, especially with the surveillance thing, you don't realise that the camera system's not recording until you try to play something back. And like I find that just so deeply disturbing that people are realising that at that point. It's one of the things that we're working towards a solution for.
Yeah. And all of this, the framework that Parasol brings to the table. There's some great documentation, some brochures that partners can utilize, but it allows, that whole framework allows the integrator to have that conversation with their client and sort of say, right, we've installed all this great gear. We want to keep it working well. We want to make sure that you're not missing recordings. And so part of our service is, a support package, and you can draw a line in the sand. There's some people that might not want to do it, and that's fine. You can. It's an opportunity to really draw that line in the sand and say, sure, if you don't want to go with, a support package, then this is what you need to expect. When you pick up the phone and call me, there will be a side charge and an hourly charge, and it will allow integrators to have that conversation and really not have any grey areas where it's expected.
100%.
That, you're going to come out and look after me because I've spent X, Y, Z, because no one does that, No car manufacturer rolls a truck to your home.
If you get a flat tire.
Exactly.
100%. No, I think that's a great point, because we do have, if you do try to sidestep that conversation about how long is this going to keep operational? Do they expect it to work indefinitely? What is the actual expectation? This actually allows you to really clear that up front, and it gives you all the tools to do it. So you've got the whole process from, even if you're going back to your existing customer base, there's a descriptive tool to go and have that conversation, and it will help you draw that line and say, look, if you want, you want to know about these things ahead of time, or you want support when they occur, this is how we do it.
And it's a good differentiator as well, even if you weave it into the first, part of the quotational process in whatever, description you want to go into. But that could be a differentiator between, your business and another business, that.
I think having it set from the outset is probably the most beneficial, just because it really does set the expectation. And it also,
we've got a 24/7 support.
Or not.
Call line,
or not.
Or not.
Correct. You don't have to.
Which is the client going to go for.
Yeah. I mean, we've been building these structures into our projects, like the benefits of having Wattbox to remotely switch stuff, can't be overstated. We've been using the pack edge routers and things like that for years and years and years. So those tools that you require to implement this were already kind of the best in the industry anyway. So I think for a lot of us, at least, it should be a pretty simple onboarding process. We were already using Oversee, which is a requirement. You have to be using Oversee to implement Parasol. And we've got the basic tool set already in our projects to do it.
And the techs are really highly trained in these products and probably others as well, so that they're used to solving issues. It's not, fast.
Over 500,000 apparently.
There's some really
500,000 problems
stats
resolved.
there.
That's right.
Yep. A lot of happy kids. A lot of not missed birthdays, and for our integrators.
Not interrupted dinners.
Not interrupted. Yes. Yeah. Well.
I think another important thing is talking about the Oversee platform as well. And I mean, we were at the CEDIA Tech Summit, and Glenn was showing us through quite a few products, and it's just incredible that it's just one piece of software that a technician has to learn. It's not multiple subsystems, and it's very seamless, and it's just easy to use. So I think, just as Aidan was saying, the Wattbox stuff that I pretty much do on my projects as well, and having that peace of mind that it's all tied together, I guess, by the glue, really.
Let me ask you a question. Before Wattbox came out and you did a job and it had a device, a streaming device, whichever brand, and it froze, what did you have to do?
The old reach behind and pull the plug.
Well, you'd get the customer to do it if they could do it, or you'd end up rolling the truck. And
it was ugly.
It was ugly.
It's ugly,
right?
yeah.
So
I mean, we have a lot of clients that couldn't physically, tell the difference between an Ethernet cable, a HDMI cable, and a power cable.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
you're trying to tell them to unplug the streaming device or a Foxtel box, and you just you don't know how much worse they're going to make. A, they might not even be looking at the right device, and B, they could be pulling out any number of cables.
And I think, some of the things that obviously the Parasol service does, it actually brings in better habits.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, if you're wanting more than yourself to be able to support that job, well, you need to document how things are done. What port are they plugged into? What IP socket are they plugged in? Power socket are they plugged into? Where is it in the rack? And I think some of the other benefits of overseas is a repository for all those documents as well. A lot of partners don't have a place to put that stuff. But then that information becomes available to Parasol as well. So the more detail that you put in there, the better the result of the interaction with the customer. I think the other big thing to remember is, we've talked a lot about brands. We've talked about Overseas. We've talked about Parasol. We've talked about Package and things like that. One of the big things that I want everybody to really take home is that the customer is buying. Look, we're tools, and our products are tools, and we believe they're the best in the industry. But the customer is buying you and buying your business. And, when you're going to sell Parasol, well, it's not Parasol. What they're buying is the HTT service agreement.
Yeah.
And so,
Correct.
Whilst we're very proud of the brands and the products and solutions we have, we're even more inspired by partners choosing to use our products and being an extension of them and how they go to market. So I think that's probably the big thing I want people to take away. Don't go and sell a Parasol.
Yeah, I think one thing that you've said quite often over the few years that I've known you is that, it's the sell your solution. It's the sell yourself. It's not the product that you're selling. And I think, obviously that's, really apparent that that's what you want to offer, and they're the value adds that your company can offer.
Yep, definitely.
I think we've covered pretty much all there is to cover about Parasol. So if you are interested in finding out more, there'll be an onboarding webinar on the 13th of November, did we say?
That week.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll send out some information, and maybe what we can do is put a link to the invitation or something like that.
And we'll have a link to, if you're not already a Snap partner, how to become a Snap partner and get on board with Overseas so that you can start doing these types of monitoring and service solutions for your clients.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. It's been great
Thanks for having us.
to understand a bit more about the solution and the service that you guys have just launched in the APAC region. So thank you guys.
Yeah, definitely. And look, I think this is going out on social media and things like that as well.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there uses Parasol or starting to use Parasol, love to hear from you, and maybe the chat there could be a good way to see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about Parasol.